Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jamie. And tonight we are going to be exploring how holding on to emotions, past emotions specifically, fucks you up. Do you guys ever feel that way? Like when you hold on to your past shit, it fucks you up?
Do I ever?
Right? I know.
First of all, I can't get it out of my head.
That's how it fucks you up because you're like preoccupied with this other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like we all know this, but we don't really know what to do about it, right? Like, we all know we do that, but where's the real information that tells us how to deal with it?
Well, you have to look that up. And
you do.
Then you have to be willing to take the steps to actually do it. The exercises, the journaling,
the practice.
The meditation,
it's practice, yeah. It's like staying aware.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in today's episode, you guys, we're going to cover understanding emotional baggage because I'm sure we've felt our own. We've accused other people of having a bunch of it. It's always easier to point the finger than accept our own stuff. And, you know, how to process like those pent up emotions and some tools for healing. And we're going to be using catharsis. I hope I'm saying that right. It's cathartic, cathartic crying, a cathartic release. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've just never heard it called catharsis, but this is catharsis and self-care. Okay. So really simple shit. But this is going to be heavier and definitely a lot of psychological based stuff. I'm bringing in my degree here.
Yeah.
But Kat's going to help keep me grounded.
All right.
So let's jump into it. What's the weight of the emotional baggage and like what's its impact? You know, because that's how if you know the weight of it and the impact that it has on you, that's what should make you want to change.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think we know how to rid ourselves of it.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of what we're carrying around, these are things that we've been carrying around with us for years. And sometimes they're buried and then something sparks an undigging of something, a trigger. Yeah,
we're going to go over triggers too, yeah.
So a trigger occurs and then all of these feelings come up around it. Like when I saw the picture of my brother and his mom, my brother's my half brother, gave me a picture of my dad and me that I had never seen before when I was like 3 years old. And just looking at that picture, I was just looking at myself in that picture and my father in that picture. My body language, I looked like I was trying to fold into myself. And I just, knowing what I had already been through at just 3 years old, with my mother leaving me when I was 8 months old and then not coming back. So losing my mother and being moved around grandmother, then to father, then living with a woman that I didn't know who was functioning as a mother. All that stuff for a little kid like that, for a toddler, really. When I looked at that picture of myself, I got really emotional. I just really realized, it's like, damn.
She's been through a lot.
She's been through a lot at that age. And I could see it in my body language. I mean, I felt like I recognized it in my body language.
Sure.
I was trying to make myself smaller than I even was.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is something that really fucked with me.
Just seeing it, like getting that visual of that?
Yeah, getting that whole thing. And then when I thought about it more, and like as time went on over the next couple of weeks, it was very emotional for me.
Yeah. Well, as we talk through some of these things, I didn't put any of our personal stories in there, but if you want to speak up with some of them, this is some deep shit that can really surface. And for our listeners, if you guys are experiencing any of this, or if you have people in your life that are experiencing some of this stuff that you'll be able to recognize, we're offering tools and suggestions for help. Just start small. You don't want to like blast everybody with their like, here's how you fix yourself A through Z. That it doesn't work like that. And it's really an affront to their senses, but be gentle and suggest small things and little small changes, and actually holding space for them and having an environment where they can speak about their pain freely is really the start to a healing journey, when you can start admitting what's happened to you and then process it. Because that's what it takes. It takes like admitting it and then processing. And that is time. You need time in between those.
I ultimately did a spell to release, to forgive.
I love that. Yeah.
My dad, a releasing ritual. I guess, I don't know if it was actually a spell. Is it a spell that I do?
Spell, ritual, yeah.
Spell, ritual, yeah.
Both.
I burned a candle. I wrote some stuff on the candle, and then I released all that emotion that I was feeling around all that stuff that I had gone through.
Was that the forgiveness one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those, you can switch that, and that was after your dad had passed.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
without
there's,
trust.
there's not a lot that she can work on or do or make amends with. But for herself, like that was a way to, I don't know, start the healing.
Yeah.
It may come up years later. Like there's those flows
we
like
talk
that.
about here how emotional, unresolved emotions can manifest physically.
Yeah.
And we list some things like headaches and insomnia and chronic fatigue. But for me, it was the physical part of it, I think, was the self-soothing with food. So I could already see myself as a chunky little kid at that point, and I probably was already using food as a way to comfort myself, or maybe I was fed a lot by my grandmother, who I lived with for, I don't know, over a year, from the time I was 8 months till.
And a Southern grandma at that.
And a Southern grandma. So them Southern grandmas, they're feeding you.
They like comfort food.
Yeah, and they
That's
like all that comfort food. So,
yeah.
So not just headaches, insomnia, but also eating issues, where we're using food for something other than nourishment.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's something that I still deal with today.
Yeah.
As a 65, 66-year-old woman.
So there's something that we're going to go through, that's how pent up emotions really damage our health. Like, so this is the physical things, like when you say food became the coping mechanism because it provided comfort and a distraction at that. Food is also a distraction for us.
Yeah, it feels like, we can turn food into something that feels like love.
Sure. Think about how many people say that I'm a foodie. I love food. I love going out. My husband's like that. He loves going out to eat.
Yeah.
And I don't have that. I was like, why? Like, it's so hard for me to understand. Why do you love going out to eat? Like, the whole social thing. Like, there's so much of that doesn't mix with my personality. But I love seeing him happy. I love him trying new things. Like, I love supporting him in that journey. But that is not my love. My love is a dark basement with like lots of craft shit and a puzzle and a fucking, Marvel movie playing or something. Like, that's my love. A couple cats circling around my feet. Yeah, we all find ways that we feel comforted. And that's part of the coping mechanisms. And I don't talk about those ones specifically, but you'll see some of the most common ones that we have as coping mechanisms to work through our uncomfortable emotions that we're not ready to deal with. And this podcast is truly about how we hold on to those past emotions that we haven't dealt with, and it really does fuck us up, and it fucks up relationships and jobs and our personality. It changes our personality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how pent up emotions really damage your health. Kat already said, like, the headaches and the chronic fatigue and insomnia. I have suffered from the insomnia for a long time. That's the anxiety part for me.
Yeah.
So you can label them as whatever you're experiencing these built up emotions as: anxiety, stress, insomnia, but I think we describe it as like you feel drained. I think when you're experiencing this, you're always feeling drained. And when we think of emotions as the water element, because we're right at the precipice of Pisces season, so we're going over this water element again, it's appropriate to say that it's like an empty vessel when we are emotionally drained. So when I think of an empty vessel, I think of like a drained bathtub, a drained pool, a drained pond. Do you know how dangerous those things are to sit empty? Like falling into an empty pit, a hole. Like that's what's in our soul, is an empty pit or an empty hole, if you think about it in that way. So conversely, we will notice that, what if the pool or the pond or tub was full? What would we say? We would say we float, that we feel lighter.
Well, we can float.
Yeah.
And then you're weightless.
You're weightless. You feel lighter.
Yeah.
So imagine that water is actually the energy or the emotions that we have when we're fucking drained from all the past stuff. You are a dangerous pit somebody could fall into and break themselves. And when it's full,
you're a dangerous pit you can fall into. And
yeah, you fall into your own pit.
Your pit of self-pity or whatever, just self-loathing.
Yeah, unworthiness, for sure. Oh, we're going to get into some words that really trigger some shit in me, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So something to do if you are feeling that fatigue, that insomnia, the headaches. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not qualified to speak on it, but I know about body scans where you just sit, and they say in meditation, but not truly. You're really trying to sit and assess your own body. So if you were to close your eyes and picture your hand, think about your hand. So Kat, I want you to do this too. I know I just put you through this last podcast. If you close your eyes and you think about your hand, like set it on the couch or your lap. Okay, close your eyes. Think about your hand. What do you feel? What do you notice about your hand?
That it's on my leg.
So you feel your leg.
Yeah.
All right, now feel your hand. What's your first finger feel like? Is there tension? I see you moving it, but like, is there tension,
No, I feel
restriction?
actually pretty relaxed.
You feel relaxed?
Yeah, I feel relaxed right now.
Okay, so that is a way
It's probably
to.
all the liquor I've drank.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
Just kidding.
Yes, I let her
Not
get
really.
liquored up. No. But as a body scan, that's one of the things that we do is we actually start at our head and you go through like, how does my scalp feel? How do my eyes feel? What's my mouth, my jawline? What's my neck, my shoulders, my arms? What are my hands feeling like? My chest, is it heavy? Is there something there? My
There's
stomach.
guided meditations that do this.
Absolutely, called body scans.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I've listened to some of them where it's like, okay, now feel the back of your head.
Yeah.
And there's Joe Dispenza ones that I've listened to that talk about that. He didn't mention body scan, but that the meditation is literally going body part by
That's
body
awareness,
part.
yeah. He's creating something more positive where it's awareness. We're trying to look for the part of ourselves that are holding the built up emotion. That's what body scan is. And you guys can look this up on the internet and like find people that you might connect with if you want to do that practice. But it's about finding the tightness and the uncomfortableness in your body and then breathing into that and trying to let it go. The way that my therapist taught me is that you find a body part and you don't immediately try to say, what's it feel like? You tense it up, really, like you squeeze the muscle and then you let it go and you're like, does it relax? And that's how you can build, like that's how you can release tension, emotional tension in your body.
I already know where mine would be.
Oh.
Heart and chest and then gut.
Okay. Mine is gut also.
Stomach and gut, because I feel like those are the places where I store emotions, you know, negative and, well, probably more negative. I don't know about positive. But for sure, or maybe neck and shoulders, that's actually stress, though.
Yeah.
So we talk, you know, there's, of course, all of your body parts, head and face. I don't know, temples, I guess, if you had a headache.
Yeah. Well, it's from clenching and holding tension.
If you're clenching, you're clenching your jaw.
I don't really know how to do that with my temples. I've seen people in movies, like actors that.
Well, I think from the temples it would be like headaches, because I've literally like put my hand on my temple and felt it throbbing, you know, when I've had a headache. So, but I don't know about holding tension there, but definitely neck and shoulders when I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
Stiffness in those areas and pain and just like unable to, like feeling like you need to crack your neck or get a massage because it's so tense.
The tightness. And so in neck and shoulders, that's the area that we hold our stress, the stress of the day, the stress of our life.
That's where I feel it.
Yeah. And then when we move to the heart and the chest and you tune into that area, it's like if you have that tightness, heaviness, or a sense of like constriction, that's where we hold sadness and anxiety. So if you feel that in your body, then like you said about stomach and gut, if we notice any knots or butterflies or uneasiness, and
that's definitely the anxiety.
Yeah, I have suffered with that my entire life. I've been on medication for it. It's been a whole thing. And I always attributed that to me being a very sensitive person. So I have anxiety a lot. And it's something I still, learn to cope with today, which is just through like being aware and breathing and saying it's not that serious. It's not that difficult. We're okay. We're not going to die or whatever I gotta tell myself in the moment to not feel that. But the stomach and gut area, it's linked to fear and worry, So worriers. I remember as a kid that you would always say you're a worrywart. And I felt like I was a worrywart. And so this was like this habit of, I just think about the future all the time. I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I got to prepare for it. And like, what's the next step? And we got to do this. And like, we got to go through that. And like, what if this over here happens? Okay, we better put this aside for that. That is my mind full blown all the time where I have to think through so many situations. My husband is way worse. He's a Libra, so he's an air sign. He's always in his fucking head and it's exhausting. Like, stop jumping ahead 50 years, like just be here with me. So as I've learned to tame my own stuff, I help him tame his stuff. Yeah.
So the lower back and the hips are areas where we might store anger or suppressed anger or emotional burdens. And the first thing that comes to my mind with this is my daughter Jolene has a lot of back problems,
hip problems. She's hip fucking problems. Young and she has hip problems.
Yeah, she's like all the time complaining of her hips hurting and her back hurting. And reading this and knowing now this is where we store suppressed anger and emotional burdens, I can see that could be an issue for her, that's why she's suffering from this pain in these areas of her body is because she's had she's been through a lot of shit that she hasn't really dealt with.
Hasn't had this time and space to deal with.
She hasn't had the time and space, energy, whatever, to deal with it and try to release it. I definitely see that for her. That was immediately what I thought of. When I know,
because she was in her 20s, you guys, when she started saying her hips hurt, and I was like, how? That is for 65-year-old to 100-year-old women.
Well, she, made a lot of choices that made her life really hard.
Yeah.
As an adult.
Yeah.
So legs and feet, tension and restlessness there. Oh, restless
leg syndrome.
Restless leg
Fucking
syndrome.
hell.
So, do you ever have to put your feet out from under the covers because they're hot? Like, I can't sleep with my feet under the covers.
Yeah.
They're always hot.
Feet, legs. My legs they have their own mind. And sometimes they are very angry and you just want to shake them and punch them and kick them. It is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And the way that I've learned to deal with that is lots of water, a magnesium supplement, and making sure I get exercise. But I have to be physically moving, If I'm not moving, if I sit all fucking day, it's the worst.
Yeah.
I better get really high before bed because I'm going to be so angry with my legs.
Maybe that's why I feel that. I mean, I don't have, it's not tension so much as, I don't know, restlessness would be a more.
It feels like you need to move them.
Yeah, it feels like I need to move them.
Like, I want to get out of my bed and stomp.
It takes me a while to settle down at night.
Yeah.
To get, relaxed enough.
Yeah.
My lower half of my body, legs and feet. But this is somewhere where we might be storing feelings of instability or being stuck.
Being stuck somewhere.
Being stuck.
Yeah. And you know what I equate stuck with?
What?
Not knowing what your next step is. Because it's not like you're stuck like something else is keeping you stuck. Sometimes I think it's us because we don't know what the fuck we're doing with our lives. I feel like that's a kind of stuckness that our family has experienced, where we just don't know what the next thing is that we're going to do. Because we're also wildly creative and we're not afraid to move and try new shit ever.
Right.
And you kind of get addicted to that always moving thing. And I remember when I started therapy way back in 2015 for my PTSD, I can't believe that one of my first assessments that my psychologist made about me was, she said, "You're addicted to adrenaline." And I was like, you don't know me at all. That's the farthest thing from my mind. Adrenaline? Except I'm a comfy, cozy, want to be tucked in my little corner alone. No. But then she started walking me through my life and all my decisions and how I went in the Navy and then I went to Iraq and then I went to Afghanistan and I joined these jobs that make me travel and I'm always on the fucking go. And I was like, oh, I'm addicted to adrenaline. Oh my God, I didn't know that about myself. I have to be moving. That is not how I ever thought about myself ever. To be in those places felt normal.
You didn't want to be stuck.
Because I needed to be I needed to have things moving around me. What the fuck? It blew my mind. I still was like, oh my God, I got a bad therapist. And then she showed me and I was like, oh, I don't know myself that well, I guess.
Yeah. Unresolved feelings can also show up as patterns, though, in our lives. You can recognize signs like you're stuck in old emotional loops. Okay, we've talked about this. We're both procrastinators.
Damn it.
Do you still think of yourself as a procrastinator?
Fuck yeah.
Are you still?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so, procrastination, that's avoidance.
It is, yeah.
We say, and Jamie and I both do the same thing, we wait till the last minute to get shit done.
We like the pressure. We're comfortable under pressure.
We say that, I work better under pressure.
It's sad.
But really, what are you actually avoiding what are you avoiding emotionally by putting something off and waiting until the last minute?
I know what mine is.
What is it?
I'm avoiding not completing the task well. I want to almost wait to do things sometimes until I know that I can do them the best that I ever can. Being the best, completion to the fullest, give it my 200%. But why can't I do that in steady paces of 30 minutes a day for a week? No, I want to shove it into the 4 hours before the thing is due. I don't fucking understand that. I don't know. Working well under pressure is terrible because I'm exhausted afterwards.
Yeah.
But I do it. I don't know.
So unworthiness is something that I have, that I know that I have suffered with throughout my life because I can look back at patterns of things that I have done that proved to me that I didn't feel like I had any self-worth. But that's a self-sabotage. So when we self-sabotage, you know, what is it that when we self-sabotage, what is it that we're afraid of? We're afraid that what we're going to succeed, and then for a lot of people, and I think even for me too, like if we succeed, then how do things change? Because you can get into this place where whatever the life is that you're living and that you have right now, even though it's not ideal and you want to make changes, it's comfortable because you're used to it. You're used to the drama, or you're used to the pain.
You're used to the struggle.
You're just used to the struggle, or you're used to whatever. It's like, I know this. If I decide to change that, then, and I'm successful at it, then what does my life look like after that? And then I don't know. And that feels scary.
Scarier.
To know what that life would look like if I succeeded at XYZ, then to actually go ahead and do it. So there's this fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And also I think where the unworthiness comes in is like, do I deserve to succeed? Am I even worthy of having success, of having a better life?
Yeah.
You know?
I have this thing that I learned, way back when, but I was comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I think
we get
that was a state I was very comfortable in, was to be uncomfortable and struggle.
I think we get used to that. I think it's like, why do people live in drama? Why do people continue to involve themselves in drama, like in family drama, or
relationships,
or in a relationship drama?
Yeah.
It's because it's what they know. They're comfortable with it. It's that personality, that part of their personality, or who they are at that time. It's like, I know that, and I'm used to that. Mm-hmm. And some part of you thrives in it.
Survives. I mean, thrives, survives. You, like you said, you're more comfortable in what you know than you are in the unknown. There's this damn saying, and I wish I could remember it, but it's like, and it's a brain thing too. It's not like our spiritual self is going like, yeah, stay here in this fucked up situation. You're comfortable. Don't worry about it. But our brain is saying, you're more comfortable in a familiar hell than a unknown heaven. There's some kind of fucking saying like that.
I think Joe Dispenza has a saying about that. Actually, I remember listening to it.
That's why it changes so hard.
Yeah.
Because like you become complacent. You're familiar in that place. You know what you're dealing with. There's no surprises. And that is comforting. It's comforting that there's no more surprises. You know all the bullshit you're going to deal with.
Yeah.
All of it. Because you've already been through it. But to go to the successful level, I got to say that when I first started this, it was terrifying thinking that I would have 50 people on a fucking call. That I could have 100 people listening to what I was saying.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, that was really scary for me.
When we started first talking on camera, or talking in front of people, or doing lessons, like our new witch stuff. It was anxiety inducing.
Right. And you're battling that. You're battling that uncomfortable thing. Yeah. Even though you're totally fucking worthy of it.
So, unresolved feelings can also show up in patterns of, this is not going to surprise anybody, but difficulty maintaining healthy relationships because we have unmet emotional needs. There's a little girl inside of me that is always seeking validation or love from the parents that I didn't get it. And then I take that, and I have taken that into every single one of my relationships. And it's something that I'm trying to heal from now, to recognize, so that at some point in the future I can have a healthy relationship where I'm not looking to another person to heal that wounded little girl.
To validate your worth. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's like if you were to show your true needs, you might get rejected. And so that's the barrier that we face, is like, don't show your true needs. Don't be vulnerable, Yeah.
Well, then for me anyway, I know I placed a lot of unrealistic expectations on my partner for solving my shit that I didn't either want to recognize. I just pushed it down.
Well, it was everybody else's problem, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody else was the problem, not us. We're fucking perfect.
I don't know that I ever thought I was perfect, but I definitely thought I was better than some people.
Did you always think you were right? Yes, because I know we are so similar. And in my bad relationships, my true belief is like, I am fucking right and you are not. I know better than you. I know more than you. I'm smarter than you. And that is where
I did always want to have the upper hand with stuff, you know.
So this is where I learned something really important. I know this is not on topic, but if I haven't said it before, I'm going to say it again. I chose men that were lower than me spiritually, emotionally, financially, so that I could feed that fucking need to myself so I could be in charge and be smarter and be more and do more and be in charge. I did that.
That gives
Gave
you
the upper hand.
It gives you a sense of control that you lost it somewhere along the line where you didn't feel like you had control.
It was so surprising to me that I chose men that weren't equal to me. And, you know, it's not mostly financial, but it is definitely ambitions, goals, drive, dreams, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I was pissed off about it. You know, like, what the fuck?
We're good at that. Why don't you get your shit
Live up to my unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Live up to my unrealistic expectations. So what can we do about this?
Yeah.
You know, how do we move past these patterns or get out of this stuck place? You know, one of the things we can do is like ask ourselves, like, look at the pattern. What do we see in our lives? Like, are we procrastinators? Do we always pick the same type of relationships? Are we drama queens? Are we avoidant? Whatever it is, and ask ourselves, you know, what are we trying to avoid within these? You know, what emotion are we avoiding? I know for me, it was, I don't want to deal with the pain of it. I wanted to leave that shit in the past. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really in the past, though, because it was always coming up in my fucking relationships.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to
acknowledge it.
I didn't want to acknowledge it because I didn't want to revisit those painful experiences that I had. But, you know, journaling can help. I think shadow work is just so helpful.
Asking yourself as many questions as you can about where this shit comes from.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just having a conversation like with yourself on paper where you can, especially when you're feeling in your feels about these things, if you can take that time to sit and journal about it and write down all the stuff, just let it come pouring out of you.
Yeah.
And even though when you do that, I know when I have done this, it may not resolve the issue at that moment, but one thing it does is it gets it out of me. And then once it's on paper, I have some time to reflect because I've actually put it down on paper, and like once I've written it down, then I've released it in a way, in a certain way. I've gotten it out of my head and out of my heart, and then I can think about it later and go like, okay, I wrote all that stuff down, and that was some pretty deep shit.
Yeah.
And now, how can I heal that? You know, what do I do?
I ended up doing an assignment for my therapist that was, I pretended to be two people, my higher elevated self of like, Jamie, what's going on? Why are you unhappy? What's happening? Right? Like I was kind with myself. Jamie, we want to heal this. What are you doing? What's going on? You know? And then my hurt self, I would come back into my body and be like, I'm fucking pissed off because this didn't work out and my career got taken from me and this is unfair. Like I started to notice this thing that I had in my head about how so many things in my life had been unfair. That's not fair. That, like, victim. I didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Victim.
And I never thought of myself as that because I was so bold and, like, such a leader. I didn't know you could be a great leader and feel like a victim in your own head. Like, those two things was, what? No, you can't.
Well, you didn't equate feeling that things were unfair with being a victim. And I think we don't. We're like, well, that's unfair. Well, it is unfair. It was unfair.
It was unfair.
Yeah.
Do you know all I needed was for somebody to come forward? Oh, this like almost makes me emotional to say it. But when she came forward, like we talked about all my writings because I had to do this like reflection thing where I was both people. And I just wrote out everything I felt and that I was mad about because it was anger. And
well, that's how hurt manifests as anger.
I know, I'm going to cry. So when she read through it and she goes, Jamie, it was unfair. You're not wrong. What do we do with that now? And I was like, I don't know. What do I do? I was wronged and it wasn't fair. What do I do? It's just like, you decide how you carry it forward. do you help other people? Do you hang on to this? Like, what do you do with that? And I was like, I truly don't fucking know what I'm doing. That's why I'm in therapy. That's the funny thing about therapists. They're always turning it back on you.
They do. They don't give you the answers.
No,
they make you figure
your
it
own
out.
problems.
They make you figure it out.
But I guess what I had to realize is what she taught me after allowing me to be angry for several sessions. Do you know what she said?
What?
She said, what if you forgave the situation? Not him, not them, not that. What if you forgave the situation and said, you know what, I learned a lot from that and I won't let that happen to me again, or I'm going to stand up for myself next time, or I'm going to, I'm going to have that voice. And you use that anger as like a platform for yourself, to another box you stand on to say, I'm going to put this hurt here. I'm not going to forget it. I remember it. I know what it did. And when I see that coming, immediately nip that in the bud. Like that, okay, I know what that looks like and feels like. I'm not going to let that go any further. And it changed everything for me, Yeah. And it actually gave me a lot of grace with myself to say, all right, I'm not fucking crazy. I was wronged. It was unfair. And then I went forward with it and I was like, all right, well, that's done. Now somebody acknowledged it. Now what? And somebody said, sorry that happened to you. It's like, okay, I got an apology. Like, so should I stay mad? She's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I'd like to fucking never think of it again. She's like, you have the power to do that. I was like, really? I just never have to think about it again? She's like, not unless you want to. So it was this weird thing where just having somebody else feel what I felt and be like, I'm really sorry. That was really wrong. You were wronged. You can't change it, but you can change how you move forward with it. Oh, sorry for making you cry.
Yeah, now we're both crying.
I know. Because that is deep shit when you carry that for so long.
Absolutely.
Deep, deep shit. So this is really where like the emotional triggers come in, because you've been through shit, and if you haven't dealt with it, those triggers are still there. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about it's really just 3 common triggers, because I could go like for hours on this shit, but there's 3 common triggers that people really feel deeply and often have the hardest time healing from. And that is rejection, their failures, and then being criticized by people. These are things that stick out in our head so much that it changes our personality. And it stems from all those wounds. And my therapist told me this also that I didn't like. She said, people who have been victimized in that way somehow seem to fall into that trap over and over again until they're healed. And I was like, that's really fucked up. So she even told me, like, people that were
being re-victimized.
Yeah, you keep being re-victimized, abused again. So, like, when I think about different sexual traumas that I've had, like, why does that keep happening to me? That was one of my anger points. Is like, how the fuck does that keep happening to me? How do people see that in me? And she said, predators or people who have been in these situations, they recognize the pain points in people, whether it's energetically, whether it's just like psychology, and they know how to manipulate you. And if you're still trying to heal or you're avoiding that, they know that you're going to try to be like, nope, that's not real. Like that, because you haven't dealt with it. Yeah. So they get re-victimized like that. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, fucking never again. Give me the tools to, like, I need to know. So we're going to talk about, like, when you feel rejected. What is rejection? Bad breakups, being used, being hushed, being fucking silenced. That is something the women in our family do not do well. Feeling left out, feeling unwanted, which is something that I know is from your childhood with your parents passing you around and all of that. Mm-hmm. Being ignored, being shut down, the silencing. Mm-hmm. Like, when we have those things happen to us and we haven't dealt with them, that basically equals like, do not get rejected again. And here are the coping mechanisms that happen that it changes our personality. So, because you have that fear of vulnerability, like, you're guarded, you don't want to open up, you avoid relationships. That's me retreating into myself and being alone for so long. Mm-hmm. But now you're a distant, emotionally attached person.
Detached person.
Emotionally detached person. Yeah. You're just like, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay right here.
I can think of periods in my life where I totally did that. I'm like,
I think of you as that way when you came here. Like, I really felt you had a lot of walls up, or just you were very fucking, I'm done with this shit, I'm leaving. Like, we would be somewhere and my mom would be done with the situation and all of a sudden she's just fucking gone. She never said bye to any of us, nothing. She just burnt out. We did not even, we were like, where'd mom go? Like, what happened? And she's like, I was just done. I was like, Mom, you got to tell people you're leaving. It was like I had to teach you these little basic
things.
Basic niceties or something.
I had been through hell and back
I know
by
you
the time I
had.
got here in 2019.
I know.
For a long ass time, and it had torn me down. It had really torn me down.
Yeah, so basically anything that happened where she was there and she didn't want to be a part of it, she had no loyalty to anybody. She was just fucking gone. It was like, skirt, bye, done, disappear. I was like,
and you know what? That is such a distant memory that I barely remember even doing that.
I only remember because some of my shock faces of like, did she really just leave? Like, not say bye? Are we okay? Is she mad at me? Like, I took it personally, so I had to, like, not take it personally. I just be like, nope, mom's got things. She's working through it, so. Yeah. Now I can laugh about it because you're not like that at all. Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of doing that.
I know,
and
right?
It's hard for me to fathom that I did
that you did
that.
it?
Yeah. But that was my coping mechanism. It was just I had to remove myself because it was...
Listen, I did the same thing every time I moved from a new place. I just cut everybody off. I didn't stay in contact with anybody. Like, nobody.
That's why we have no friends.
Yeah.
Except the witch friends that we have now.
Our witch friends.
We have a group of witch friends.
But hey, we like built that on purpose.
But old friends, like from the past, there's none.
No.
There's a few. I have a few. That's not
my
true.
husband, besides my family, my husband is the only person I've known the longest in my whole life. And I'm 44 years old and I've been with him 10 years. Like, I should know more people or be friends with people longer than that. I feel like
that's true. I have a few. I do. That's not true. I got a few friends that I stay in touch with that are good people. Okay.
So then there's
low
what
self-esteem.
Low self-esteem. Fucking hell.
Man. That's one that I relate to. Like,
yeah.
Because when you're a kid and your parents abandon you, if your parents don't love you, it's the whole old cliche, if your parents don't love you, who can love you, right? And that's really something that's traumatizing as a child for that to happen. So,
yeah. The low self-esteem is persistent feelings of being unwanted or unworthy, and it erodes our self-confidence. Like, so from whatever situations that happen that make us feel that low of unwanted, unworthy, and where I've seen this, like, I was in the military, I've met literally thousands and thousands of people because of my jobs, right? I've traveled, I've just done so much. So when I speak about a general knowing of people and what I've seen, I feel like I have a good point to stand from. Like, the whole thing is, it manifests as that self-deprecating humor. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're like making fun of yourself?
In like a bad way, though. Like, oh, I'm just fat and stupid. And then they laugh. You're like, I don't feel like we should laugh about that. Like, do you really think that? I don't think you're not always smart, but like, you're not just fat and stupid. Yeah. But the people that would come with these things that if they spoke up about something, so they would try to insert their opinion of like, I think we should do this, but don't mind me, I'm just fat and stupid. It's like, oh, that's sad. Yeah. So that you can see low self-esteem in comments like that. And, it's like, it's also your reluctancy to assert your needs. So you might jokingly throw them out there, but you do it as a joke so you can't be rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Openly putting yourself down and being used as a doormat. Ever felt like a doormat?
Putting myself down is one thing, but a doormat, I don't think so, because I'm pretty feisty when it comes to that. Like, I'm not just going to lay down. That's going to piss me off too. Like, that's going to just really piss me fucking off. And I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah.
So
I've met lots of people who literally felt like they were doormats, and it described their relationship with other people as being their doormat.
Well, and they behave that way. You see them just let people do anything. No boundaries,
Well, that's because you want to be accepted at all costs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to like the trigger of feeling like a failure. Okay. So when we have felt like a failure, these are the things that have happened that make us feel that way. We have unmet goals, whether we set them for ourselves or other people set them for us, right? We disappointed somebody. You have grades. Like, this stems from school. Like, maybe you weren't good in school, so you got told, like, oh, you're the slow kid. You should have been on the short bus. Like, I heard things like this. Not about me, but for other people.
Yeah.
When your ideas fail, like, say you try to start something and then it just doesn't go anywhere, maybe because You didn't plan enough. There wasn't enough backing. You didn't think hard enough, whatever.
You don't keep trying.
You don't keep trying. Yeah. The difference between success and failure is the person who failed gave up. That's what they say.
That's it.
Incomplete projects, having a hard time learning something new. This is the one I've dealt with the most because I've always been in training situations. I've always been a trainer, always been a teacher, which is why this fits so good for me. But when people don't get it immediately, they shut the fuck down. They're like, nope. And then the backlash is either I'm stupid and my ideas are stupid and what I'm trying to teach them is stupid, or they're just like, they just say, and never learn it. And they're like, They don't want to admit they're not understanding it. Yeah. And so it gives them a really pessimistic outlook about themselves, you know? So the way that this changes your personality is you become afraid of taking risks, which in life, we all need to take risks to grow, putting yourself out there, doing something new, stepping outside of your box. So that fear of failing can lead to like trying to be a perfectionist.
Risk aversion.
Yeah, like you're trying to be a perfectionist, or opposite end, you procrastinate. Shit, we're procrastinators. Is it from failures? I don't know. If you avoid the task unless success seems guaranteed. If you guys have anybody like this in your life, there's a really good book. I'm just going to chime in here really quick. Carol Dweck, she writes for children. So it's about the school system and how just praising kids for their, oh, you did such a good job. Like that is, or you're so smart. That's really unhelpful because smart cannot be encouraged and but effort can be. I'm forgetting because my kid, I read that when he was in 6th grade and now he's 19. But Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, is so fucking good for this if you're struggling with that.
Carol Dweck.
Mindset.
How do you spell Dweck?
DWECK. Okay. Carol Dweck.
Right.
Yeah. So then being overcritical of yourself and others, that is a problem I have. It really is. Unrealistic expectations. I'm overly critical of other people.
I have that too.
Can I say I get it from you so I don't have to take responsibility for it?
I think we all can be that way depending on what the stuff that's happened to us in our lives. But, yeah.
I mean, that's because, you don't want to feel like a failure. So you try to make other people jump as high as you have or do what you did or be whatever.
Well, I think for me anyway, I'm hard on myself. I'm harder on myself than I am on other people, but I have high expectations of other people.
Yeah.
I have higher expectations of myself.
Unrealistically high.
Unrealistically high at times, yeah.
No, not at times. It's either all or nothing. No, I'm kidding. No. That was being critical. I was joking.
That's not funny.
Oh, sorry. Having a sense of hopelessness, repeated failures might lead to the learned helplessness where you stop trying because you believe your effort won't change the outcome. That is in Carol Dweck's book also, Learned Helplessness, where people understand that if they don't get it and they're like, I don't know, I can't get it. People give more effort to try to help them, but that just removes them from having to try. That's learned helplessness. So it can give them a sense of hopelessness, like they can't do anything without somebody else there. If you don't think that your effort is going to change anything, you don't believe that you can grow, that things can get better. That is pessimism.
Yeah,
nothing's
absolutely.
ever going to get better.
Nothing. Yeah, it's just the world's shit.
It reminds me of people's mindset in
stupid.
Kansas City. Some of the people I know from Kansas City, they're just like, no, this is my lot in life. I just got to accept it and fuck it, I'm here.
Yeah.
Never trying to get better. Yeah. So what about resilience or overcompensation? Because I'm going to admit that I thought of you when I wrote this part. And we'll just see why. So having resilience, but you're overcompensating, it's like some people may respond to failure by becoming hyper-driven to success as a way of proving their worth, a.k.a. you're a workaholic.
I've been a workaholic.
You are a workaholic.
I'm still a workaholic?
You're a workaholic. I love you so much, and that is the least of my concerns for your growth, but you're a workaholic.
You think so?
Definitely. If your job knew your commitment level, you would be being paid twice what you get now. Because you're overly committed, and I think you're more worried about...
I call that good work ethic.
Mm-hmm. She's defending her stance, guys. That's right. Tell me more.
Well,
You hold yourself to a high standard to prove your worth.
I do.
You do.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Well, I equate my value to that.
So there's lots of themes that kind of go into that then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that too. Don't worry. I just got out of it and now I'm way more lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical. You've always been Miss Lollygagger, which is the same thing as lackadaisical.
Yes. So I grew up being told that I was a lollygagger my whole life and that my mom was always like, come on. I couldn't get this one in line. I was like, look at the pretty trees. Look at this over here. I found a rock.
She was always the kid that was last to be in the car, last to get her coat on, last to catch, running for the bus.
Oh, shit.
All of those things. And I'm like,
I think I still might have
she was always in her head and doing something else. It wasn't that it was just that she was distracted.
I was in my fairy tale world.
She was easily distracted by all the pretty things. Squirrel.
Why didn't I get tested for ADHD when I was little, or ADD, or whatever the fuck they get?
I didn't think
that probably wasn't around back then.
It wasn't around. Nobody heard of ADHD in the 80s.
All it is I had a sense of wonder outside of what other people wanted me to do. That's all. I just wanted to be in the woods.
She'd rather be playing. I'd rather be playing.
Actually,
what it amounts to is she'd rather be playing and being creative.
That's right.
And picking up bugs or
that has
whatever.
not changed at all. My husband knows it, and so when we go places, at first when we're dating, I think it really bothered him. But he sees the joy I get out of finding weird little shit like spiders in the teeniest places or just being fascinated by watching something, and he just like sticks his hands in his pockets and kind of moseys and looks around and he's like, I'll just wait for you, it's fine. So when we went to Pompeii, I thought it was hilarious because Pompeii, oh my God, I learned about this in school. Like, I couldn't believe when I was at Pompeii. So I'm going up to every fucking brick. I'm looking in all the crevices. I'm amazed that I'm there. And so what he really saw of me the whole time was my backside. Like, every time he would look for me, it was my butt sticking out of somewhere. I was bent over, looking in something, turned this way. And like, I did this funny post. It's like, what I see on our vacations versus what my husband sees on our vacations, where I'm squatted down, I'm picking something up, I've got rocks in my fucking pockets. He's like,
you haven't changed.
I've not changed. No, embrace it.
Yeah.
All right. So lastly, we're talking about when we've been criticized. So this is like feeling judged. Ooh, judging. Oh my God. This hits hard with some family members. If you're feeling flawed, if you're receiving negative feedback, if you're being called out publicly, I think that's probably the worst.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to blame one of my teachers for making me read out loud on why I didn't fucking talk for like 2 years in class. I was like, nope. Because I have a speech impediment. I stutter. I have dyslexia. Like, I was so nervous. And they thought that by making me read out loud every fucking class, I would get over it. It just made the anxiety of it so much worse. I started pretending like I had stomach issues and fevers, and I had to go to the nurse, and I had stomach problems. Just anything I could do to get out of that fucking class.
They're so mean. They're so uneducated.
Well, they think they're going to make it better by like, you can just work through this by doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work, and you should be able to recognize that as an educator, or you shouldn't be educating.
Remember, I was spanked in 3rd grade, so like, I'm from an old generation.
Such an old generation.
At my 44 years, I'm so old. Okay. Yeah. But the way that this changes your personality when you're subjected to criticism is that you have a heightened sensitivity. All right. So you are so aware of your surroundings because you do not want to be called out. You do not want to be a spectacle, and you're almost watching for everybody else, so you know when to run. That's how I think of that. The constant criticism can make us feel overly sensitive to others' opinions, leading to our anxiety and overthinking in social settings and even professional settings. So getting up to speak, working with David, I got the great honor of recording myself talking and then watching it in front of everybody, with everybody. I don't know how many shades of red I was, or how bad I had to pee, or how my nervous system was freaking the fuck out sitting at the table, watching myself on a huge screen TV. Talking for the first time, most uncomfortable thing I ever did. Yeah. But then I joined Toastmasters and I learned to talk in front of people, and now we have a podcast. Like, it changes.
And now you can't shut her up.
I fucking can't shut up. So there's when you have so much criticism, that's where we get that anxiety of talking in front of people, because something happened and somebody thought they said to you like, You could do better. You're no good. Like, oh, look at you stutter. Like, you're not eloquent.
You have an annoying voice.
I was told I had an annoying voice and I should shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
That's
this results.
mean.
I know. It results in, like, the insecure and overly self-conscious personality trait.
Yeah.
You know, this is making yourself small. This is keeping yourself small, wanting to be invisible. Don't notice me. Let me sneak in and out of places.
Or always feeling people are looking at you when most people don't really care.
Probably. I mean, most people are stuck in their own heads.
Yeah.
So they don't have time to worry about you unless you're being stupid, doing something dumb, and trying to make a spectacle of yourself, you know? Like, if you get up on stage, obviously everybody's going to look at you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's what you're doing there. Give it purpose. So with becoming overly conscious, right, then you've got this defensiveness where you need to protect yourself because, you know, you could be seen as, like, the things people say is a personal attack. Now your whole person is being attacked because people are thinking critically of you and pointing things out and saying not nice things. Yeah. So it being perceived as a personal attack. So what this does is it creates tension in relationships and it hinders your growth because you're not able to express yourself fully because you're always having to defend yourself or feel like you need to defend yourself because somebody might be judging you. Somebody might be critical of you, criticizing you. All right, lastly, for being criticized is all about perfectionism and avoidance. I saved the best for last, Mom, for us. Kat and I both suffer from perfectionism and avoidance, which is procrastination. Yeah, we do. Yeah. And it's fear of criticism that might push us to strive for perfectionism or avoid situation where judgment is likely. Yeah. So the perfectionism comes because we do that so that nobody can say shit about what we do. We're fucking perfect. We did everything right. And we will bust our ass and break our backs to make sure it's right.
And be a workaholic.
So this can really lead to like a rigid or an avoidant personality.
Rigid.
A rigid personality.
Yeah. I recognize that.
Yeah.
All right. So what can we do?
Let's do actions. We talked about a lot of bad shit. And maybe you saw it in yourself and other people and your mates and your, you know, friends, sister, cousin, uncle, brother.
You definitely know somebody.
You've seen it.
You've seen it, you know it, or you've lived it.
Yeah. So for ourselves, how do we get better knowing these things now? We've pointed them out. I want you to create what's called a trigger journal. When you're triggered, jot down what happened, how you reacted, and the situation that it reminds you of. Like, why does it make you upset? Why does it make you feel bad? Why does it make you feel judged? Why does it make you feel triggered? Use this to identify and work through the patterns, and you'll figure out a way to stop it because it's really not that the current situation is doing that, but it's the past situation that never got dealt with that's doing it. Okay.
That sounds like a good plan.
Can you do it? Can you do a trigger journal?
I think I could do a trigger journal.
I think you could too.
Yeah, definitely.
I've done it.
I can think of things, you know, even recently of things that I've encountered where, like, why am I reacting that way?
Yeah.
You know, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Something happens. Yeah, it would be helpful. I feel like it would be very helpful.
I do this with my husband when his reaction is unwarranted to the situation where I'm like, whoa, where did all this come from? Like, this is not that serious. We kind of walk through, I have to give him a minute, but then we have to walk through, like, other things he may have been through that led to his jump to the conclusion and do something else.
Is jumping to conclusions in here? Because I'm really good at that.
I'm an excellent jumper of conclusions, yes.
I get a lot of exercise jumping to conclusions. Or I have. I don't know how much I do it anymore, but...
No, I think it's the preparedness of wanting to solve the problem so it doesn't become bigger. That's usually what jumping to a conclusion means. It's like, how do I deal with this before the whole story is out? So once we create a trigger journal, you want to use this to actually work through your patterns. So it's two things in collaboration. What's your patterns that you've had? List your triggers and when they come up now. So you can start like in real time. You don't have to go back to the specific event. But as you assess the real-time triggers like today, tomorrow, in the future, that's when you're going to get back to the past. It will eventually link back there. So it's not like a one and done. It's kind of, you got to keep working on it.
Of course.
Yeah. But now that we understand how holding on to past emotions shows up in our lives and changes our personality, like, I don't want to be a rigid person. I don't want to be a shut down, block everybody out person. You know, let's dive into how we can process and release the feelings in a healthy and effective way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, we're going to start by processing the feelings that were left unheard. You can acknowledge the emotions without judgment, like saying, I feel emotion because of this situation. Can you think of one? Like, I always go back to your childhood, but you were so young, but you can look back on it now thinking, okay, I feel unloved because my parents switched me around for 4 years when I was a kid. Like, nobody wanted me. Like, I was a fucking, Easter basket or something.
Yeah. No.
That would be a way that we can, like, state the feelings that were left unheard. For me, it was, I was wronged. And I needed to hear somebody tell me, you were wronged. All I needed was the validation of that. So speaking to people about it can really help. And knowing that you were, acknowledging it, like giving yourself grace within that. Set aside 10 minutes to journal about the feelings so that you can use prompts like, what am I holding on to today? Or what do I really need to release from this situation? Because it's no longer happening to you. It's a memory that lives in your head that is destroying future relationships, future events, your job, your self-worth, and then you just have to practice observing your emotions as they pass through. Like, your emotions should be more like clouds passing through rather than permanent states that you're living in. We're allowed to feel everything, but they just shouldn't stay stuck with us. We should allow them to pass.
Because that's when it starts to impact our personality.
For sure. You hold on to it. Like, it roots to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we replace the unhealthy emotional thoughts with something that's better, right? So use affirmations like, I am in control of my emotions and I choose peace over chaos. I think that for me, when I got out of an unhealthy relationship and I wanted to go into a healthier one, I said that I choose peace over chaos. Like, unraveling all this shit right now doesn't make sense. I'm just going to choose the peaceful way out right now. It doesn't mean that there's not more discussions in the future, but I don't have to blow up about it right now, because that's what triggers do. They make you react and they cause something, like almost a part of you that's not yourself.
Yeah.
So every time you catch yourself in a negative thought loop, pause and write down at least 3 positive, empowering alternatives. Like, instead of I failed, like, oh, I fucked up at work, I made this mistake, be like, I learned a valuable lesson today.
Man, I just did that recently.
Mm-hmm. Does it help to reframe it?
No, I had to keep telling myself because I kept ruminating on it. Like,
on the mistake?
On the mistake,
oh,
yeah. And I felt so, oh my God, it was...
How did you feel? Did you feel incompetent, unworthy,
yes.
like you were going to get fired? Like,
exactly.
It went downhill fast. My God.
Yes. Well, what happened was I was running the GoToWebinar, and I don't do that I do it like once a year, right? I'm the broadcaster of the GoToWebinar, and this GoToWebinar, all the executives were on and making a presentation. And I accidentally cut off their presentation, and I didn't know it. So there was just the speaker's PowerPoint was not on the screen. It was just the speaker on the screen, and I didn't catch it. It took me about 2 or 3 minutes to figure out, because they said, we lost our presentation, and I didn't realize what that meant. And so...
You were just like, oh, that's too bad.
I'm like, well, what is that? I didn't understand the comment. Like,
oh, shit.
I lost the presentation. So they just kept talking, and they were very professional about it, but I felt so fucking stupid when I finally realized what I did. Like, what happened was when I switched when I gave control of the mouse, instead of giving control of the mouse, I made the presenter. I made the speaker the presenter, and I needed to be the presenter because the presentation was on my computer. And so I accidentally, because the buttons are too close, they're really close to each other, and I clicked the wrong one. It took me a minute, but I was like, I thought about that, and there was a recording of it that I needed to process, and I would not watch that thing for like 4 days because I did not want to see my mistake. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. They're gonna think I'm incompetent. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Blah blah blah. And then when I saw it, and then I was worried that whatever was on the screen was on somebody else's personal because if I made them presenter, now you're seeing their screen.
Yeah, their
So
personal.
I was really worried about what might have been revealed,
shit.
and I was just like, I was sweating bullets. And then when I went to see it, it was just the speaker, and I was like, oh, that's not so bad. And it was only 2 slides that were missed, so then I inserted the slides and I fixed it.
And then doomsday never happened.
And doomsday never happened. And what I did to own up to it was when I wrote the email to share the presentation, I was like, and Colin's safety slides are included in this for those of you who missed it in presentation.
Nice.
So, I mean, I owned it in that way as best as I could. But, I mean, it really made me feel dumb, And I did worry, like, they're going to fire me. They're going to think I'm just too loose. Yeah. So I ruminated about that. That's over and over again. I had to tell myself to stop. It was like, it happened. It's over. You're still here. Everybody survived,
Nobody died.
Nobody died.
Nobody died.
But yeah, that was something that just happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Where were we? Sorry, I got off on my own little...
No, listen.
That took me back.
It was that... Instead of I failed, I learned a valuable lesson.
I did learn about it'll never happen again. It will never happen again. I won't ever do that again. So I'm excited to be the broadcaster again in a future presentation, although they'll probably be like, her again?
Oh no, shit. Stop it.
Maybe.
What I think is like a long time ago, I used to say, if you don't learn it in the 3 times that you do it, you're fucking dumb. But that was me in the military, right? Like, I'm going to show you 3 times. And if you don't fucking get it, something's wrong with you. And I had that mentality for so long. Now I know that if you don't get it, it's probably not meant for you. You don't need this fucking information. You're in the wrong place. Because if you just...
Are you talking about yourself or other people?
Me, other people, anything. If there is something that you are trying to get and you just can't get it, you're not in the right space for learning. You're just not. Because I think that people are reasonable and rational, and if you don't have an actual learning disability, like, if you are shown something 3 times and somebody has talked to you about it, you're not in the right space to learn it. And that means you've got too much fucking stress, you're worried, you're actually not focused, you're not immersed in it, it's not the right tools, they're not doing it in the right format. If fucking, I was going to say Steve Jobs, but he passed, so sorry. If Bill Gates was to try to teach me something about the fucking computer and he's using all kinds of language I've never heard before... Think about that. We are not born knowing things. We must learn them. We must learn them through experiences. So if you have 0 experience, you're going to be what is considered stupid because you have 0 experience in it. And I had to deal with that with the child that I brought on who had to graduate high school and started at 10th grade level, but in 1 year needed to get graduated. And her perspective was that she was told she was stupid her whole fucking life. And I said, you were not born with this knowledge. So that does not mean you're stupid. It means you're unexposed. You've never been exposed to this before. How the fuck should you know this stuff?
Yeah.
And I had to shift her perspective so she could be open to learning after that. It was like, then she could ask questions. Then she could become involved with the information. But sometimes having people repeat shit to you, like, that doesn't help. You're like, what? Examples, diagrams, hands-on. Like, there's so many ways to immerse yourself in stuff that, yeah.
But the point is, I guess, when you find yourself in these negative loops of repeating to yourself, God, I'm so dumb. Oh, man, everybody's going to think I'm stupid. You can choose to change that narrative and reframe it into something that is, like I finally had to say to myself, nobody died. We're still here.
See? That's where I had to get it.
And,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, I fixed it. It took me a minute or 2, maybe 3 at the most. Mm-hmm. And nothing terrible happened. Like, nobody called me up afterward.
It was a bigger deal in your head than it actually was in the real world.
But on my own head, I had to stop thinking that way. I had to change it because it was giving me anxiety. You know?
You're starting to feel it in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to go over how to handle the emotional triggers for this also because, replacing unhealthy thoughts is one. Processing the feelings that were left unheard is another. But when you do a pause and a countdown, something really disconnects in your head. Our neural pathways are written by things that we repeat to ourselves. So if you have a thing that's happening and then you interrupt it and you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you have literally interrupted that signal from neuron to neuron, creating a hardwired pathway because now you're counting. That's something that we can all do, count from 5 to 1. And then you bring yourself back to the present moment. And it's like, that's just a boundary so that you don't spiral. Don't fucking spiral.
So this is like for handling triggers, like emotional triggers.
Yeah, handle it. Anything that you're repeating in your head that is literally causing you distress, that you feel it, like for you. And I have felt this. I mean, I do this over death because I have a really hard time handling death and like losing things, like my animals, seeing death out in the world. Like it just fucks with me, seeing animals hit on the road, I don't know, all that stuff. I have to literally switch my brain and be like, don't record that. Do not think about that. Don't picture that later, because I take in all of the scene. That's why I can't watch crime documentaries. I can't watch things where people are getting murdered. I can't watch horror films anymore. I used to be able to do that just fine. But I cannot.
I used to be able to watch it too, and I cannot.
Cannot.
I don't want to see anything like that anymore.
No, it sticks in my brain.
Yep,
you know, like, unfortunately, I don't want to recall that shit when I'm getting ready to go to sleep.
I can't believe how much I used to like all the crime shows and stuff like that, and I don't want to see it. There's too much in the world that I already know about, and I just don't want to be reminded of it and have to think about it or be exposed to it, or just like, because I ruminate on it too.
Exactly. Yeah, it sticks in my head.
Yeah, I can't.
So this is the counting method is considered a grounding technique because it's bringing you back to the present moment. And remember, that's what grounding is. It's getting out of your fucking head and feet back on the earth and like, where am I at right now? Because what's in our head is not what's actually happening in real time in front of us right now. Like Kat ruminating over her mistake, she was thinking about something that already happened hours ago, a day ago, 2 days ago. It wasn't actually happening to her right then, and yet she was feeling the physical emotions of going through it like it just happened. And that is where we hardwire those thoughts and emotions so we can repeat that feeling and re-victimize ourselves over and over and over again. And that becomes our state. That's where we get to, is that is now who we are. That's how we change our personality from being carefree and kids and lollygaggers and picking up,
because, that,
whatever.
Made me feel less confident about, my less capable, so that's what that did.
Do you have more grace with yourself now after thinking about it and knowing that nothing really bad happened?
Well, no, this conversation kind of helps me put it into context, though.
In perspective. That's good.
I know that, after I thought about it for days, I was like, look, it's over. I had to tell myself, it's done. You can't.
It happened.
It's over. So quit
dwelling
on it, because it's just, it's not adding anything to your life.
Yeah.
But, we were just talking about not being able to watch those crime shows anymore. And, the other thing that you can do for handling your emotional triggers is setting boundaries. And I think for you and I, having been people that used to watch all the crime shows and the murder things and all that stuff and expose ourselves to it, like we realized that we can't do that anymore because we absorb too much of it. And so that's a boundary now that we've set. So this is another way that you can handle your emotional triggers, is by setting boundaries. Yeah. And just recognizing when certain things or people don't contribute to, or they contribute to your triggers, or else they just don't, situations just don't add to your life. They take away your peace, your joy, your self-confidence, any of those things that, that you, if you expose yourself to them, all of a sudden you're feeling less than in some kind of way. You can create a boundary. It's like, I'm not going to do that anymore because I know how that impacts me.
Yeah. We're going to move right into like the healing power of water. I want to get to the catharsis state because we are running it right at 1 hour and 8 minutes, and we've talked so much. I knew this was going to be a big podcast, but with everything that we've talked about, we want to give you the cathartic way to use water, and that includes our tears, because so many people in this day and age are like afraid to cry in front of other people. And I want people to see my tears and be like, wow, I love that you can show emotion like that. Like I tell my husband all the time, I'm okay when I cry, but I'm crying because I'm letting feelings out. Like I'm letting them go, or I'm embracing what I'm feeling, whether it's a happy cry from a fucking, Hallmark movie. I forgot what people call them, but like a feel good movie. We just watched some Christmas shit over the weekend, and I was like, listen, oh my God, it's so the fucking happy endings that make me cry now. It's like, oh, I don't care.
Did you get emotional at that one we watched on Thanksgiving? I did at the very end of it. whatever that was.
The Jack Black one?
Yeah.
Of course I did.
Yeah, and I didn't want anybody to see me crying.
Oh, gee.
I'm trying to wipe it away on the sly, like, don't be silly.
Oh my, no, I think that when something warms your heart to tears, it's like, wow. And you know what? Actors do that so that they can, like, you know what I thought when I cried over that? I thought they would be really fucking proud that they were able to move us emotionally, because that is why they act. That is what they love, that to be able to evoke emotions from people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck yeah, Jack Black and your little, like, half Satan Santa self, and the little kid who's like, I thought it was great. I loved it. So we watched a movie called Dear Santa on Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
A dyslexic kid writes a letter to Santa Claus, and instead of it going to Santa because he's dyslexic, it goes to Satan. That's the premise of the movie.
See, I connect with that so much.
Well, we are dyslexic, so yes, we totally connect with that.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I love Jack Black as an actor anyways, but see, I think that that's where we get to a place where we should feel okay to cry no matter what. Yeah. And you know what we're doing, Mom, by not wanting to cry is that we don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. And that's fucked up, because that's people pleasing. That's like, oh no, we can't be ourselves because other people might feel away. Yeah, no.
All right. Maybe I'm just embarrassed to show emotion over something that I don't think that I should be emotional about. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So crying. Cathartic.
I actually
love crying when I'm upset.
Yeah.
Because it's a release.
It does feel so good, right?
Yeah, it does. When I get really upset.
Yes.
If I cry, I feel better. I'm
telling you what, they can make AI all fucking day, but they could never make it cry. Because that is human emotion. They can't understand it. Like, it's never... I've seen so many robot movies and all kinds of shit where they're trying to imitate humanity. I think that our emotions and being able to feel enough to bring us to physical reactions is what the real human experience is, you know? Whether that's laughter, joy, crying, joyful cries. Like, have you ever been so fucking happy you cry?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's so good.
Well, so for tears, in addition to, like, letting tears out, we can also use water for self-care, like with baths. Oh, man, who doesn't love a bath?
I don't love
You don't love a bath.
I don't. I love showers.
I love water, though.
I love the water hitting my skin.
I like, I've been taking, like, really hot showers since it got cold, and
But do you take a bath?
Good. I don't like my bathtub, so no.
Okay, but you do love baths.
I would, yeah.
I've already told you can come use my bathtub anytime. I've never used it.
I know, I need to.
I love the feel. I love the feel of water hitting my skin. Like, that puts me in a trance, I think. That allows me to feel everything. I have, like, things I say to myself. It's almost like I'm underwater, even though I know I'm not. I'm just in the water.
No, it feels wonderful to have water flowing over you.
Mm-hmm. So when we use water for emotional self-care, think about all the things that you can add to that, like Epsom salts and essential oils and herbs and detox and all the things. I have sugar scrubs that I make, and I absolutely love them.
They're wonderful.
Oh, I love them.
I've used we made sugar scrubs. I've used it.
We did,
it's
yes.
Really good.
So I would say that an actionable item for, using water for emotional self-care is to design a weekly water ritual, whether that's a bath, a shower, but set the intention for releasing specific feelings and create a mantra for that. Create a saying for that. Like, I release this fucked up emotional feeling around my mistake at work this week, and I make space for peace because nobody died. That's...
The world kept going.
The world kept going. Nobody called me and fired me. That's it. And then you have daily habits to also stay in the flow. All right. So drinking plenty of water. I know that there's all this healthy stuff that people say and all of that, but our body is literally made up of like 65% water. We need it to be in balance. And having a nice herbal tea helps with hydration. It's basically all water and fresh herbs. So I would say find a tea that you love. Pay the extra money for a fancy tea. No joke. It's really not going to break you if you buy a $10 tea that's just tastes like blueberry and whatever the fuck, passion fruit.
I have my elderberry tea that I love.
Yeah, I love my blueberry teas.
I have elderberry. I love it.
And you can also learn to make your own, but hydrating your actual physical body so that you do have enough water in your body for tears, right? So that you can operate on a good level.
So you stay balanced.
Yeah. And then I think that when you create that water ritual for yourself, that when you're drinking the beverage that is hydrating you, you're also saying to yourself, like, I'm drinking in peace and love. I'm drinking in, pleasant thoughts. I'm drinking in balancing my emotions. I'm drinking in, fill in the blank. But ending your day with a simple grounding ritual. And remember, grounding means that you're bringing your headspace to awareness. Soaking your feet in warm water, visualizing that stress is leaving your body. When I'm in the shower, every time I'm in my shower, I visualize stress washing off of my body. That's what all those little pellets of water are doing. That's like stress going down the drain. Because I want to go to bed all peaceful and sound and, cozy and restful like a baby. Like I got no cares in the world. Yeah.
Well, witches, we've covered a lot today. How emotional baggage weighs down, the tools to process and replace unhealthy thoughts, and the healing magic of catharsis and water rituals. Remember, emotions are like rivers. They're meant to flow, not stagnate. The more you let go, the lighter you feel. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust the journey, and let it flow.
Bye, witches.
Bye, witches.